Once upon a time in a small village, there lived a young girl named Sarah. Sarah was known for her bright smile and kind heart. She lived with her parents and little brother in a modest home. Every morning, Sarah would wake up early to help her mother with chores and take care of her brother. Despite their struggles, Sarah's family was rich in love and faith. From a young age, Sarah had dreams of doing something great with her life. She often wondered, what is my destiny? She would sit under the old oak tree in her backyard, close her eyes, and imagine a life filled with purpose and joy. Sarah loved God deeply and believed that He had a special plan for her. One day, while walking home from the market, Sarah saw an elderly man sitting alone on a bench. His clothes were torn and his face was weary. She felt a tug in her heart and approached him. "Hello, sir. Are you okay?" she asked gently. The man looked up and smiled faintly. "I'm all right, dear. Just tired and hungry." Without hesitation, Sarah offered him the bread she had bought. "Please, take this. I can share with you." The man's eyes sparkled with gratitude. "Thank you, kind girl. You have a heart full of love." They talked for a while, and he shared stories of his life. He told her about his youth, his dreams, and how he had lost everything due to circumstances beyond his control. "Never lose hope," Sarah said sincerely. "God has a plan for you, just like He has for all of us." The old man nodded. "You remind me of someone special. Keep your faith strong, and you will see God's plan unfold in your life." Days turned into weeks, and Sarah continued to help others in her village. She visited the sick, shared food with the hungry, and comforted those in distress. Every act of kindness filled her with joy, and she felt a sense of purpose growing within her. One sunny afternoon, Sarah heard a commotion in the town square. Curious, she rushed over to see what was happening. A group of villagers had gathered around a woman who was crying and pleading for help. "My son is very sick. He needs a doctor, but we have no money," she wailed. Without thinking, Sarah stepped forward. "I will help you. We can find a way." The villagers turned to her in surprise. How could a young girl help in such a serious situation? The woman looked at Sarah with hope in her eyes. "You would help us." "Yes. Let's pray together first," Sarah said, taking the woman's hands. She closed her eyes and prayed earnestly for the boy's healing. The villagers joined in, raising their voices in prayer. They believed in the power of God. After the prayer, Sarah suggested they visit the village healer. With the woman's permission, they hurried to the healer's home. He was known for his wisdom and skills. When they arrived, the healer listened carefully to the boy's symptoms and began to work. Hours passed, and finally, the healer emerged with a smile. "Your son will be all right. He needs rest and some herbs, but he will recover," he said. The woman broke down in tears of joy, thanking Sarah and the healer for their help. At that moment, Sarah realized the power of faith and community. She understood that God could use anyone, even a young girl, to bring hope and healing. It was a turning point in her life, and she felt as if she was being guided toward her divine destiny. As the days went by, Sarah's acts of kindness began to inspire others. People started to join her in helping those in need. They formed a small group dedicated to serving their community. They visited the sick, organized food drives, and provided support to families in crisis. Sarah became a leader, not because she wanted to, but because her heart was full of love and compassion. One day, news spread that a nearby village was hit by a terrible storm. Many homes were destroyed, and families were left without shelter or food. Sarah felt a strong urge to help. "We must do something. Let's gather supplies and go help them," she urged her friends. The group quickly organized a relief effort. They collected clothes, food, and other essentials. With determination in their hearts, they set out for the affected village. When they arrived, they were met with devastation. Homes were in ruins, and the villagers looked lost and hopeless. But Sarah and her friends didn't let despair take over. They began to work tirelessly. They helped rebuild homes, distributed food, and provided comfort to those grieving their losses. The villagers were amazed by the kindness of these young people. Slowly, smiles began to return to their faces. One evening, as Sarah sat by a fire with the villagers, an elderly man approached her. He had been watching her work and felt compelled to speak. "You have a light in you, dear girl. It shines bright, and it is a gift from God. You are fulfilling your destiny," he said. Tears filled Sarah's eyes. She had never thought of herself as someone special. "I am just doing what I can," she replied humbly. "But what you are doing is great," the man continued. "You have inspired hope in our hearts. You are living proof that love can overcome even the darkest times." Sarah felt a warmth in her heart. She understood now that her destiny was not just about her own dreams, it was about serving others and making a difference in their lives. She realized that God had been guiding her all along, showing her the way through her acts of kindness and love. As time passed, Sarah's group continued to grow. They reached out to more villages, helping those in need and spreading the message of hope. People started to refer to them as the Light Brigade, a name that reflected their mission to bring light into the lives of others. One day, a local newspaper came to interview them. The reporter was amazed by their work and wrote a beautiful article about Sarah and her friends. The story spread, and soon they received support from other communities. Donations poured in, and they were able to expand their efforts even further. With the newfound resources, Sarah and her friends established a community center in their village. It became a place for children to learn, for families to gather, and for those in need to find help. Sarah's dream was coming true, but it was not just her dream, it was a shared dream of everyone in the community. Years went by, and Sarah grew into a remarkable young woman. She continued to lead the Light Brigade, inspiring countless others to join the cause of love and service. Her faith in God never wavered, and she often reflected on the words of the old man from the bench. Keep your faith strong, and you will see God's plan unfold in your life. One day, as she was organizing an event at the community center, Sarah received a letter. It was from the old man she had met years ago. He wrote about how he had been following her journey from afar and was proud of all she had achieved. He reminded her that her actions were a reflection of God's love and that she was indeed living her divine destiny. Humbled and grateful, Sarah realized that her journey was far from over. There were still many people to help, many lives to touch, and many dreams to fulfill. She prayed for guidance and strength, knowing that God was with her every step of the way. As the sun set that evening, Sarah stood outside the community center, looking at the stars twinkling above. She felt a deep sense of peace. She had learned that destiny is not a destination but a journey. It is about the impact we make along the way and the love we share with others. In her heart, Sarah knew that she was just a small part of a greater plan. God had used her to shine His light in the world, and she was determined to keep spreading that light as long as she lived. And so, Sarah's story continues. A story of faith, hope, and love. A reminder that we all have a divine destiny, waiting to be discovered, and that with God's guidance, we can make a difference in the lives of others.